Hey everybody, it's John here. At the beginning of 2022, I said I was going to do more video. I was going to be on camera more. I was going to talk to you more, just so that you can kind of understand who I am and where I'm coming from. And I haven't really done that, and so I'm sorry. I've done a couple of little things here and there. I've done some stuff with Windreach Farm. I love the farm. Shout out to everybody there. Hopefully everybody's recovering from the storm over the weekend, especially those in Uxbridge, where they have confirmed a tornado touchdown. So if you're in Uxbridge and you need anything, if you need help, please reach out to me. I will do everything I possibly can to help you get through this, and hopefully this doesn't happen again in our lifetime. It was pretty brutal over the weekend, so I just wanted to mention that quickly. Another reason that I wanted to do this today is because I don't know, I miss talking. There's a couple of things that are kind of going on right now, especially in the media world. And as some of you know, I used to work in the media world. I used to work for a couple of radio stations in the Toronto area, and I loved it. It was great. I was there until from the time I kind of finished university until late 2010, when I kind of took a bit of a change of career path and went into sales. But when I was there, I was at a couple, I won't mention them, a couple of radio stations in the Toronto area. Overall, the company owned about 40, 50 radio stations kind of here and there across the time I worked there, across Canada, or during the time I worked there, I should say. And the ones that were in Toronto, I was kind of sort of a technical producer. I mean, I guess if you want to get into the details, I would sort of handle guests, handle the on-air staff and different events on location. So I was doing a lot of on-location broadcasts. And just over this past weekend, there was a video put out by somebody who also used to work at that radio station. I was not there when this individual was there, but a lot of people that were named, maybe not named, but implicated in this situation, I have worked with closely. And so a lot of people have been asking me, what do you think? What's happening? What is this about? What's that about? I know you used to work there. And I'm like, yeah, I really shouldn't. I'm not going to say, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything that's going to maybe kind of rub people the wrong way. And I don't want to feel like I'm choosing sides or I'm on any sort of team. It's tough. It's tough to hear bad things about a person who you kind of respect and have, learned a lot from. But I wouldn't say that every experience I had at that radio station was a good experience, but a lot of them were. I see things a little bit maybe differently, and maybe I was treated a little bit differently than some people, especially the ones who have come forward with some of these allegations. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to hear about. It's tough to hear such discouraging or frustrating things about somebody who used to have respect for, and somebody who was an absolute titan in broadcasting. And it's, I mean, yeah, did I sort of see some of these things firsthand? Yeah, of course. I mean, was I too tired or too chicken to stand up and say that's not a good thing to do? Yeah, I was. Some people that I know did. They stood up for themselves. They stood up for the other women that were working at the station, and they nearly lost their jobs. Some of them did lose their jobs, and some of them nearly lost their jobs. And of course, I was kind of, I'm just going to continue doing my thing, making sure I make the right people happy, make them look good, make them sound good. And that was my job. And I did it. And I developed crippling anxiety when I was working there. And it was partially because of just the pressure. I was just a tremendous amount of pressure put on people in my position that were kind of lowly techs, lowly producers, lowly coordinators, that had to answer to these big morning show hosts. And I was kind of put in a lot of positions that I didn't want to be in, but I had a job to do, and so I did it. And I was scared. I was terrified every time I turned the mics on, and every time I was kind of there was an underlying technical glitch or something that I had to work through. And I was terrified that I was going to have something, a pair of headphones or a microphone thrown at me sometimes. That never happened to me. There was never any physical violence, but I mean, I was scared. And so, yeah, that's kind of partially where this anxiety kind of came from. And I had to leave that job in 2010 because of that. And I kind of, I told people there was nowhere to move up, and there was nowhere to kind of go. I was sort of stuck. My boss was a director, and I had probably had to spend another 15 years or so there just to get into his position, to get the experience and the knowledge to be able to kind of do his job. So I thought maybe I'll just take a different path and move around a little bit, which I did. And I never went back to radio, although I tried. So now I'm lucky that I have this avenue, this ability, this microphone and these headphones in this place of my own to sort of talk to you. So that was frustrating to kind of watch and to see people's reactions, but it was also kind of like, a little bit encouraging over the weekend because so many people came forward, and I think hopefully there'll be some change in this business. So that's kind of my take on this situation. But as I said, I mean, this affects different people differently, and there's some people at that radio station who absolutely deserve all the wrath that they're going to get, and there's some people that don't. And I just wanted to kind of, touch on that briefly because like I said, I used to work there, and a lot of people have been asking me what I think. So there's that. Another thing that kind of happened to me, one of the reasons that I wanted to sort of put myself out there a little bit more was because at the beginning of this year, late last year, November, December, I was going through a separation, and some of you may call it a divorce. And that's one of the reasons that my office looks a little different now than it did about this time last year, because I'm in a new house, which is great. It's just me. It was a huge transition. I mean, this is the kind of part of the video that I was dreading because I didn't really want to talk about it, but I think I will a little bit. You have to rebuild. You have to rebuild regardless of the situation that you were in and the situation that maybe your partner, your spouse was in. You have to rebuild. You have to start over. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And it is intense. It's difficult. It's disheartening, and it hurts like hell sometimes. So when you, if this ever happens to you, just keep moving forward. It's really the only thing you can do. Have a good team of people around you. Some people during this situation, some people I got closer to, and some people I did not. I lost a lot of friends and a lot of family members. Some family members don't talk to me anymore, or don't talk to me the same as they did before. But I did lose a lot of people, not just my spouse, but I lost some friends and some family members. And, one of the most heartbreaking things is that I don't really get to see my dogs, and I miss them like crazy. So I don't want to get too emotional about that, but that was a decision that we made, and that's got to live with that. So that's the thing. I'm going to try to do some more videos that touch on rebuilding after something like this. And, I have a great mortgage broker, and I'm going to try to get her on, maybe do a podcast with her so we can talk together about rebuilding after something like this happened. So hopefully, and she helped me through this. She gave me a lot of encouragement and a lot of hope, something that she went through herself. And it means a lot. So it also gave me a chance to get a little bit closer to some other people, meet a few people. And some of those people are, fantastic and a huge part of my life right now. A couple of you some individuals, you know who you are. I'm not going to start naming names, but thank you for being there and continuing to be there. Some people I met recently and have continued to be a fantastic addition to my life. Sorry. Oh, so there's that. Now this is why I do what I do. This is the real estate market right now. This is the boring part. The real estate market right now is in a bit of a transition. And so because I had to kind of start over, I kind of found myself in a position where I didn't know if I would even be able to afford anything. But there's different things you can do that will help. And it's not just about going into a bank and saying, here's what I need to do. I need a mortgage for this amount of money. You've got a lot of options. And one day I'm going to try to talk a little bit more about those. But what's happening right now, especially where I am in Durham region, is that we're seeing a little transition from this, super tight, super tough, seller's market to kind of more of a balanced market. And I think a lot of people are sort of like looking around and maybe not understanding the difference, and maybe not understanding that there is a balanced market. There is a transition. it's not always a buyer's market. It's not always a seller's market. So there can be a bit of a transition now. It's a little bit balanced. So what happened is buyers are, I find anyway, in my personal practice, is that buyers are confused. They're fatigued. There's a lot of different pricing strategies out there. Some agents, listing agents, are still pricing well below market value, hoping that they're going to get a ton of offers and it'll sell for way over market value. Some buyers and their agents are kind of, wise to that strategy and maybe not wanting to compete. And there's other factors involved too. I mean, we've got a lot of crises happening in the world right now, economic, political, and there's a lot of violence happening. 2 mass shootings in the United States in 10 days. And not that that's really affecting our real estate market directly, but it is affecting people's attitudes, and it's affecting people's well-being and their mental health, which kind of has an effect on the economy in general. We've got a war happening in Europe, and that's a tough thing for people to process, especially if you have family anywhere near there. So it's kind of making people rethink their overall financial decisions or financial picture. So it's a bit of a tough go right now. We're kind of hopefully coming out of a pandemic and hopefully not getting into another one. There's some talk of other diseases and things coming out, and it's really frustrating to hear, because we always think we're doing everything right. We should be able to beat this. We're humans. We have technology and we have science, and it's just not working that well, maybe. The science maybe, but it's the people who have to adapt it, or adopt it, I should say. So we're in a bit of a transitionary phase right now as far as the market is concerned. And what that means for buyers here is that buyers have a little bit more choice, maybe a little bit more flexibility on price. And it means that sellers maybe shouldn't expect those lofty numbers that we saw late last year, early this year, January, February. We're kind of a little bit more on the same kind of plane right now. And it's you never know. I mean, like I said, transitions, we could go either way after this. We kind of had big lofty expectations for the spring market, and things are sort of, a little bit more stagnant, different pricing strategies. And as I said before, that might be confusing some buyers. And they're fatigued and they're frustrated, and some have just fed up. So, if you've got any questions, if you want to take a look at the market right where you are in your specific geographical area, I'm more than happy to help. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you a little bit later. Again, it's been nice to be on video and be on camera, and I got a little emotional there for a bit, but I think I needed to, just because it's been a heck of a ride lately. So there's lots happening right now. I thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following. Thank you for listening. I'm going to hopefully try to do a little bit more of this, maybe have a couple of guests. I also want to continue. I'm really, really hoping that I can do another episode of House After Dark with Chantel. That was a blast, and I want to do that again. So maybe we'll talk about some more serious stuff. Maybe we'll talk about some fun stuff. But hey, you can sometimes make the serious stuff fun. So we use our real estate experience to talk about things that are fun and nice to listen to, fun and interesting to listen to. So let's talk some more about some haunted houses and shit like that. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll talk soon.